Well, hello. It's time for another Crimestoppers of North Central Iowa, where once a month we usually meet up with law enforcement here. Today is Police Chief and Clear Lake Police Chief Pete Roth is here joining us today. Hey, it's been a while, Chief. We haven't talked to you in a while.
It seems like it was just yesterday, though, but I'm sure it has been several months.
See, we interview people all the time. You probably
Right.
don't get a chance to do that so much.
Right.
We're like repeat offenders, Harry. He sees us every month.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Well, how did the summer go for Clear Lake? That's how long it's been. I think we talked to you before Ragbri. It was like June or something like that.
I think so. The summer was great. Many events. We I think had some really large crowds at some of them. The car cruise, one of our larger events at the end of the year there, that kind of signals the end of summer kind of unofficially for us. We had some obstacles there literally with construction, but we're able to get them in and out, and very pleased at how the city always handles all the events that we have and all the visitors, and hopefully we can do it again next year.
You bet.
Yeah, always a lot of fun there in Clear Lake. I mean, do you guys do much with like because I know the lake's busy on different holidays and throughout the summer. Do you guys do anything with that, or is that something totally separate with different law enforcement?
Yeah, so once you hit the water, it becomes the counties and the state's law enforcement jurisdiction. But our Ventura and Clear Lake fire departments, do rescue operations on the lake, and we also have to deal with the parking issues and pedestrian issues as they get to the lake. And if you're on kind of dry land is what we call it, or if your feet are dry on the dock, then we kind of take care of that. And if your feet are wet, then it's the county or the DNR's problem. So,
so can you get? Let me ask you this real quick. Can you get double ticketed if you're on the water and then you come off the dry land and then all of a sudden there's Chief? Can you get me again?
We don't try to do that. So usually, if it's one or the other. So,
okay.
You might leave a note like, "Get a hold of us when you get back." Speaking of events, I wanted to bring up because I heard a lot of cool things about Halloween in Clear Lake. And Jay, if you didn't know this, they had a really nice organized trick or treat thing right down Main Street in Clear Lake. And Pete, you would know this more than I did. I just heard about it, but I heard it was very organized and how cool it was. And it is about special events like this that need to be organized. And how cool and safe is it for just the kids all to just come down Main Street?
Well, I wouldn't know how quote organized it is, but everyone seems to know that Main Avenue is sort of the place to go with all the improvements that the city has done.
Yeah,
the street, the sidewalks, the lighting, just planting the trees there. Most of the residents along that stretch there from about 8th all the way down to probably 20th there do a really good job of, lighting their houses, sitting outside. They get really involved. They're really into the holiday there. And it really is just a very, very nice area for people to come down and have their kids trick or treat. And we do a good job over here in Ventura to limit the hours of trick or treating from 5 to 7 to kind of keep it somewhat lit,
right?
Not lit in the in the lighted term of the word, not great or happy, right? But so they're not trick or treating in the dark, and the residents there do really get all the credit for that because they really do go all out and try to make a great fun event for families.
Oh, that makes your job easier too.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, that's the whole point. I just heard about that. Wanted to bring it up to you. So good job.
Yeah. Do you guys, Chief, get into decorating over the holidays? I mean, do you get spiders on the side of your house, or some of your officers do
turkeys? That spiders turn into turkeys and then trees.
Yeah. we do have some creative employees in the police department that will decorate for that. There may or may not have been a sort of a ghost that was hung somewhere near an entrance when you walked in that made a noise to kind of startle some of the employees. So we do get a little creative over here, and we try to keep it professional, but yet also allow them to celebrate that, to kind of, we work a lot of hours, so it kind of gives them a little little taste of home type thing here at the office. So
Oh, you got to do that.
yep.
Do you have a lot of theft or anything of like ornaments in the front yard?
We were really fortunate this year. We don't really have that type of shenaniganry going on during that time of year. We had homecoming way earlier, I believe in September or early October. I believe it was September, where we had just the normal TPing and the little egging and stuff. But that was sort of on the down low. wasn't terrible. And usually for trick or treat, especially when it's during I think it was on Monday night this year. So usually on a weeknight we don't get that terrible. If it's on a weekend, Friday night or Saturday night, sometimes we may see a little increase in some of that activity. But this year was absolutely fantastic. Weather was great.
Yeah.
Residents were great. The kids were great. It was just great. I mean, great, I guess I would say. So
The moon eclipse had nothing to do with anything.
correct.
Yeah. Well, hey, speaking of holidays, and we just talked to Jeff Brinkley here yesterday, had a conversation with him about the porch pirates and stuff. Obviously, this is a thing all over the nation. I mean, everybody deals with this porch pirate thing. You guys, I'm sure, still you have calls, I'm sure, with that in Clear Lake as well, right?
I was trying to do some research from last year, and I know we had a couple. I mean, I don't think it's May City's more. It's a size triple the size of our town, and so they have triple the problems that we do. But
right.
For the most part, we we're pretty good with people not having packages taken from their residents or businesses. And we also have a lot of neighbors that look out for each other that, with, a retired population or, people that are able to work from home to able to watch the neighborhood. So we're lucky in that regard as well. So I know we had a couple incidents. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head when they occurred, but ever since COVID hit, home deliveries, all 365 is a issue for us that we deal with packages and things that are left out on porches that should probably be put inside. So,
would you, Chief? Would you still encourage people to purchase? I know they're a little spendy, but they're still well worth it. The Ring doorbells. Would you encourage that still?
I always encourage people to take steps to be proactive in, theft prevention. And those digital cameras that you can get now are wireless and can be used with a battery. So they're minimal hookup. And it really, and if you can afford the storage for 30 days or whatever, it's really minimal. And they really have helped us solving a lot of different issues in crime over here. And I know in other departments as well, when we can post a picture on social media asking for the public's help, we usually are about 95% successful in identifying cars and people from those cameras. So it also serves as a deterrent for folks that, to come on property or to, even get closer to your homes and stuff. So it is a little bit of an investment, but I think in the long run, it kind of gives people peace of mind too, that they can actually see what's going on at their house. And, especially those that may actually have, own rentals or have, renters inside their place too. So
I would think it would be on every city's budget, no matter where you are in this country of ours, to have a big video surveillance. I mean, and you don't tell people where they're at. I mean, obviously a camera's a camera, you probably could see it, but that, to me, that would help stomp out a lot of these, thieves and crime that's actually being done when you have the video to back it up, and can help do your job better. I don't know. Maybe that is something that you always have on the on the budget or whatever, when you bring it up to the city council or whatever, say, hey, we need some more cameras installed in this town,
it's sort of a fine line we walk between security and liberty in this country, right?
Yeah.
So, we want people to be able to be free in their public from, I hate to say government intrusion, but if you're in a public place, your right to privacy is very limited. And the problem with video security cameras or safety cameras is the storage. I mean, you're recording 24 hours a day, especially in a busy area. That's a lot of storage and a lot of money to upkeep that. So
Yeah.
The city has made some really good investments in areas that they would like to ensure that people are safe. You know, in our city park area, some of the city buildings, Public Works, City Hall, and so they've kind of walked a pretty good line about kind of access, security, and cameras. So, and they add to them every year, but it's not crazy. Again, we have to kind of watch the costs, and
Sure.
again, there could be too much video to look through as well. So,
Oh yeah.
I couldn't imagine looking through all of that. Do you got locally here? You still have any? Yeah, not still. Do you have any issues with officers as far as do you need more or?
well, everywhere in Iowa is hiring, it seems like. So, you know, right now, on paper, we are fully staffed. We are still, we will be replacing at least one officer from a retirement here coming up in a couple months. So we're still hiring police officers. We have a dispatch opening as well that closes on the 14th of November. I know my colleague Jeff Brinkley over Mesa City, I think, also has some openings. I know the State Patrol is always looking. I believe Sheriff Powell's is pretty good, at least with deputies. I think he's always looking for correction officers and dispatchers too. But really, right now, I think I don't care what business you are, I think they could use the help, and they could use the employees, especially as we get to the holiday seasons and retail and food service and even you know your service industries too, and your industrial industries always are looking for people, especially in North Iowa. It's a good, you know, more jobs available than there are probably unemployment, you know, so at least in my opinion. So
Yeah.
On the Crime Stoppers end of things, for those of you listening, Crimestoppers of NorthCentralIowa.com is the website to go to. Otherwise, you can call 800-383-0088. You can even Google that if you want. Crime Stoppers of North Central Iowa, and that'll get your phone number that way if you would like. What seems to be the biggest issue this time of year, or what are you kind of keeping a really good eye and ear out for now? Obviously, we're getting into some maybe extreme weather. That's the season. And so a lot of calls can have to do with weather, obviously. But what are some of the biggest concerns going on in Clear Lake right now, I guess?
well, just focusing on Crime Stoppers, I will give you my Mount Rushmore, if you will, of things that people can do to really help us help them, right? So my Mount Rushmore would be: don't be a victim of a scam. You know, that whether it's over the internet, whether it's you know, has someone downloading an app on your phone, answering a phone call, just be aware. If you don't know the number, don't answer the phone. If you think it's too good to be true, it's probably too good to be true. Don't fall for that. The sheriff is not going to call you and ask for gift cards to Amazon to bail someone out of jail. They won't do that. And please, just on your emails, know what you're clicking on. Look at the address of the person that sends you the email, not just the name that's displayed, but the domain that it's coming from before you click on anything or download anything. That's number one. Number two would be lock your vehicle and lock your homes. I cannot stress that enough. And almost 100% of our thefts, you know, car thefts, or someone stole your car, the vehicle was unlocked and the keys were inside the vehicle. So, and also a lot of our
keys inside too.
Yes, correct.
Really?
I also will tell you that most of the burglaries that we work at in residential zones, they are just walking in the house. So if you could just do those two things, that will help us out immensely with thefts and prevention of thefts. The third is, you know, don't leave valuable items in plain sight in your car. Cell phones, purses. You know, we talk about the holiday season coming up. Don't leave a bunch of bags in plain view, you know, like presents or gifts or purchases that you made at Target or Walmart. Leave those hidden or put them in the back or unload them immediately. And, you know, finally is as a prevention method, I know your insurance company will suggest this, but take photographs with your cell phone of your valuable items in your house, in your car, serial numbers, license plates. Take a picture of the receipt. You know, when you get stuff, walk around your house and take a picture of everything, and in your bedroom. So if something does come up missing, or you lose something, you have the serial number, the model number, the make, and even the price that it costs to buy it, and you can store that right on your phone. I know my phone, I think, has 16,000 pictures. You can create a folder on your phone and say reference or whatever you want to call it to find those items. And it helps us out when we take the report, so we can enter that information into our computer so people can track that. We can check pawn shops for it, and help people when they are victims of crime to get their items back, or at least, again, be more preventative or have more of a deterrent out there. So that's my Mount Rushmore of things that people can do to help themselves from being a victim of crime.
When people do that, I mean, through whether it's video, whether it's documentation on text messages or messages in general, obviously the phone thing, I mean, it happens to everybody. I have blocked, I probably average blocking 10 numbers a week easily, but they keep using Google phone numbers.
Correct.
And a lot of people will say, well, gee, I answered it because it said 641, and it was disguised as something local. And all they wanted to do was, tell you that you owe them money for something or whatever. I can't believe, first of all, anybody would actually fall for that. I did answer the phone the other day. It was somebody trying to sell me a Vegas vacation, or whatever. And I said,
And you bought it?
No, I said, I don't buy anything over the phone. I don't know. I said, send me an email. I want some documentation. Why would I, I remember the days, because I used to, believe it or not, before I got into broadcasting, I sold at Finger Hut. And I was one of these guys that called up and, talked to these, nice old ladies that, wanted to buy, more towels, and that was what it was. Oh, Finger Hut. Yeah. That was okay back then. Now it isn't. It just isn't. And I don't know why anybody buys anything over the phone.
Yeah, I think the three of us are probably young enough to remember when we were kids that we'd all fight to answer the phone when it rang at our house. And now, none of us want to answer the phone when it rings now. So I think it's kind of changed, but we still live in a community that expects the best out of people, and almost always gives that benefit of the doubt to people. And I think the message is getting out there, but we still, over the last 30 days, we've had 3 or 4 scam calls where they've downloaded some apps or provided their personal information out to a solicit call, and just believing that it's true. And I would just say, don't answer the phone. If they leave a message for you, then leave the message and get the message later. And if you have any questions about anything, call your bank or call the police department, and we will try to help you. So, but just don't give people information over the phone or internet unless you know exactly what you're doing and who you're talking to.
Chief, going back to the neighborhoods, there's good neighborhoods, there's bad neighborhoods. I live in a great neighborhood, and I was thinking about, because my neighborhoods know everything that's going on. Is there still the thing called the neighborhood watch? Is that still something, or is that thing of the past kind of deal?
Those were big, I want to say almost back in the 90s and in the late 80s, when departments had a dedicated community service officer or community advocacy officer, and they would organize these groups, and they'd have meetings. They'd have the watch captain or the neighborhood watch captain, and I think as we have evolved into security cameras, a digital world, that people have just kind of gone away from that and use their own cameras to kind of watch the neighborhood or watch their own property. I would hope that people would still know their neighbors and know what should be right and what should be wrong, or have that sense of suspicion if it does arise. But the organized neighborhoods, I'm not sure of anyone. The signs may still be up in certain areas, but I know that we don't have any organized neighborhoods that meet regularly to have our involvement with that. Mesa City may have a couple over there still, but that you'd have to talk to Chief Brinkley about.
Yeah, we have weekly board meetings on Friday and Saturday.
With the dogs.
With the dog.
Love it. Chief, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to wrap things up here for our Crimestoppers of North Central Iowa. We chat about crime, basically, and we try to talk to the Sheriff Pals, of course, Chief Brinkley from Mesa City Police Department, and now, of course, Pete Roth from Clear Lake Police Department as well. And we hope you have a great Thanksgiving and Christmas, Chief. And I hope I hope you guys have kind of a on your sense, seriously, I hope it's a calm, safe, everybody looking out for everybody. Nice, boring winter. For
Well,
you.
thank you for your time, and have a safe and great holiday season yourselves.
But
Take care.
I'd like to say, hey, I hope to see you soon, but not really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Again, the phone number to call if you see, if you see it, then you got to say something, man. It's simple.
Yeah.
800-383-0088, or just Google Crimestoppers of North Central Iowa. You can go to crimestoppersofnorthcentraliowa.com for their website as well. Thanks again, Chief.
Thank you, Chief.
Take care.
You bet.